Alright, welcome to Hedgehog Historicals. Today we're going to continue our game design series, focusing on working how to make a TT Combat Undead Halfling Army list for the Warlords of Erehwon game. And we're going to start with a unit review of the Halfling Necromancer. Alright, so here's Nico Root in all his glory. As we were looking through the how do you make a undead halfling army? We realized we had to kind of take pieces of both armies to make a lot of the units. Start with the undead and then influence it with the halfling stats. But the one place you don't have to do that is with Necromancer, because he's a halfling. No changes really.
There is a halfling wizard, isn't there?
There is a halfling wizard.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the base.
Okay.
But since he's actually the warlord, he actually has better
Stats.
as far as it's a lot of his stats. Yeah, his just like most halflings, his agility and accuracy are 6, so he's good at throwing rocks. Not that he can throw rocks. Let's see. Yeah, no, he can't. He can't throw rocks, but most of his kin can. And so, since it's normal for a halfling to be good at throwing rocks, he's got the 6. Anyway, his strength, like all halflings, is 4. Res is 4 because, well, he's a halfling. Yeah, initiative is base, and his command is 9. Now, just like every other magic user or necromancer, he's got the tough, got the command. He's got magic level 1, and he's got wound.
Does he have the zombie thing?
No, he does not have that on the base of it. Oh, I did make a mistake. I did give him the ability to upgrade to have rocks for throwing. He can also get the zombie master rule.
Zombie master.
He can, yeah. That's an upgrade we gave him. But anyway, just his base stats are pretty standard halfling line. But now, just like other necromancers, he can actually have skeletons, halfling skeletons, of course, or he can have the cursed spirits. Now, Dave's got plenty of skeleton models he can pull out to use. Because if he has 6 skeleton units, just without, just out of the set he's got, so he can actually go with some of those. And of course, as far as halfling skeletons, well, this is where we kind of merge the two. So agility for a halfling is 6, skeletons is 5. Well, let's go with the halfling because they're still kind of halfling-ish. Their accuracy does drop to 5 though, because they are skeletons. The strength and res, because they are halfling skeletons, it drops to 4. Initiative is low and command is low, just like skeletons would have. So
The command wouldn't matter if they're his bodyguards, though.
no, it really doesn't. Of course, when he dies, when he dies, they're still around.
They're screwed.
Well, yeah, and there'll be an initiative. There'll be a command 7, and if he dies, that means he's already taken a lot of pins. So,
yeah.
The cursed spirits, and that was kind of fun. We went with, kind of took a slightly different approach for this. We didn't take the regular spirit line. As far as having one hand-to-hand attack at strike value 1 and having exchange of missiles ability, that's about where it's kind of stops. I mean, they actually have a 6 res and a 6 strength, so actually better than other cursed spirits, and their accuracy is 6, so that makes it even better in the exchange of missiles. So, and honestly, this was a way to protect Nico Root because we really didn't have a Lich option. So you're kind of almost forced to go either Wraith or Necromancer in the way we went with this. As we heard in the last video, we just talked about the possibility of the vampire unit being the Lich. So we'll be adding that eventually. But there is no mounted Wraith as far as a character.
Yeah.
So we didn't create a stat line for that. We can very easily, but even if we did have those, with the theme that Dave came up with this army, I kind of figured it would be better to have just slightly stronger spirits, and they're a little more expensive, but at least it gives them the chance to protect him more, because these spirits cost 23 points each instead of the normal 18.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit more pricey. So as far as upgrades, though, just like any other Necromancer, tough 2, tough 3, wound 2, wound 3. That's one thing that you can also, like every wizard, different magic levels. But just like a lot of halflings, the ability they have, many of the halfling units, I don't know if you noticed it, but have the stealthy special rule.
Yeah.
Sorry, can buy the stealthy. So of course, because he's a halfling, I gave him the option. Not that you'd need or want it, but it's there.
Well, that's not true. I mean, with one of the other house rule things we did with his own personal spell he has.
Oh, we did have a new spell we created. Yeah, that is true. And actually, I'll have a completely different series of videos on different spells on my other channel, and that's actually a good idea. I should talk about that a little more in those videos. The different, why we came up with some of these things.
Well, his was specifically for this army because it's fog.
Yeah, it's fog.
I don't remember because it's been a while since I've used them, but I don't. Is it like it's like 10 inches per magic level? I think.
Yes, and it basically provides makes it harder for your opponent to be able to see you to target you.
Provides cover, I believe, right? Or did it?
No, it prevents them from shooting you, from seeing you. Now, of course, they could charge you.
Yeah.
But if they do, their minuses. They treat it like rough ground, where they have to do an agility test to get all the way up to you. Yeah, but we'll talk about the fog rule in a completely separate video. So Nico Root is a typical necromancer, and is one of the options for looking at leading this particular undead horde. Kind of sounds weird to call a halfling army an undead horde,
It plays very much like a horde. In the
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 games I played it plays like a horde.
Yeah, you're right. It actually plays. I think it's a lot of fun. All right, so let's take a look at the other HQ option we've developed, and that is the Wraith. All right, so again, we brought over the cursed spirits from that Nico Root had, but that's because just like in the regular undead army, the Wraith can be accompanied by skeleton bodyguards with spears or cursed spirits. And again, these are the same cursed spirits as we had above, so they're a little stronger. Again, the most important reason for that is that the res for any of these is 4. Any of the skeletons or the necromancer or the wraith is 4. So they're weak. I should say they're fragile. So having a res of 6 on the spirits and a strength of 6 gives them a little bit more oomph and potential to save the necromancer from dying on the field, or the wraith in this case. All right, so let's take a look at the actual stats. All right. Now, we kind of started with the wraith stat line with all its normal special abilities. It's spectral undead. It's got the dread special rule. It has the deathly chill because again it's a wraith. Now, because this is an actual undead figure, it has a command of 10. So this is probably a better unit for holding your army together. But this is what Nico Root actually aspires to be. So when he finally gets there, he'll be rocking this little miniature. Again, though, like I said, it was agility and accuracy is 6. Unlike the Necromancer, because it's a wraith, there is no throwing rocks for this one. It's not something you can do. All right. So again, as you look at the possible options, just like any other wraith, you could add toughness, you can add magic levels, you can add wounds. If you wanted to, you can add the bound spear or cursed spirits, or you can add a skeletal bodyguard with armed with spears. And for 6 points each for the skeletons, or 23 points for the spirits. It's the same spirits we talked about before. So the only thing that's different with the Skeletons are at 7 because they're going to be spectral undead bodyguard. Okay, so that's what we've got for the, at this point, 2 HQ units for our Halfling Undead army. Alright, so I hope that gives you kind of ideas for how you might approach seeing a new army of your own and tying it into what you've got in the rule book, or using Rick Priestley's rubric to come up with your own versions, your own point systems, your own stats, not point system, but your own stat lines and abilities. So again, these are the HQ units. As we come up with more, like if we do come up with a Lich, or we come up with a Wraith on horseback, we'll of course add those, the Halfling version of that. Alright, thanks for sticking with us. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.